Hey guys, I had previously recorded a podcast episode on this with my friend Panic. And then I realized that I left League of Legends open in it, and all you hear is League of Legends in it. So I thought I would just kind of hit this one solo and kind of talk about something that I deal with on a daily basis, and I'm sure probably most people deal with this on a daily basis, if not hourly basis. And that would just have to be anxiety. Um, and my anxiety started when I was really young. Um, I was in like third grade or second grade, and like 9/11 happened. And like the weirdest shit is if anybody is from my generation or like born in the 90s, you probably experienced this too, which is like we literally were in school and a teacher wheels in a TV and you're like, oh, hell yes, we're about to watch a movie. It's about to be the most baller ass shit day ever. And then they turn it on and they're forcing you to watch 9/11. And like people literally jumping out of buildings to their death. And I'm in second grade watching this all happen, learning what terrorists are. And I'm like 8. And everyone watched it. And that's just insanity. And I think that's what really started my anxiety my journey with anxiety. Yay. Um, and it just started there. And then after that, I was anxious about anthrax. I was so anxious that my mom, um, I wouldn't trust any food that she didn't make or prepare. So like my mom would have to make me all my food for like a good year. On top of that, I remember at lunch one day, I was like messing with like friends and then I ate like a part of a styrofoam cup and like the lunch lady's like, "You're gonna die if you eat that." She literally said, "You're gonna die if you eat that." And I was 8. And then my parents had to bring me to my doctor for my doctor to tell me I'm not gonna die. And I still didn't believe him. And I went to therapy as an 8-year-old for all of these fears and being anxious at 8. And it took me like a year of therapy as a kid to get over all of these fears. Um, and maybe that's why like I don't care about the little things anymore. I really try to live every day hedonistically, and that like made a huge change in my life. But I think one of like the biggest things about anxiety, especially with like people like us, is just the anxiety of being gay in a straight oriented world. And I know everyone like is always like, yes, everyone's looking to complain about where their minority exists in their life and blah blah blah. But like it is really weird, like being gay, because in my head, this is normal to me. And then in a straight person's head, being straight is normal to them. Like me and my dad had a conversation once, and he's like, "What is it like?" And this is just random. What is it like? And I'm like, "What is what like?" He's like, "Just being gay." And I'm like, I, I don't know. It just feels like normal to me. Like I'm like, "What is it like being straight?" And he's like, "I guess it's wrong of me to ask you what it's like to be gay because it's just who you are, right?" And I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "So you really like guys?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, Dad, yes." Like, it's just normal to me. And like, that's the craziest shit for me is because I grew up like with an ex and we were mega Christian, crazy shit. And just like would fight so much with myself. And every day I would just know I'm not right. Like in their eyes, in my ex's eyes, like there's something wrong with me. And it was that battle of like those anxious feelings of like, okay, I'll get better though. Like it'll get better. Like some kind of illness. Like, oh, if you pray, it'll get better. And if you do this, you'll get better. Um, and it was just like that sad feeling and like I don't know, message of like it it'll get better, that kind of fucks me up now when I hear it after being out of it for so long and knowing who I am, or knowing mostly who I am. Um, but I still get that anxiety from that shame and guilt of being back then. And I'm sure a lot of people deal with these same feelings, and that's why I like to make these kinds of things, because it's like a daily thing almost. Like I'll still sit there and be like, is this like if God really loved me, if there is a God, why would he put me through this? Why would he put any of us through that? Like, I'm going to put you on this earth, but here's a little bonus. You're going to suffer forever because you'll never be who you are because I love you. That's the backwards shit of Christianity that I will never comprehend and always fight against, among a lot of other things that go with religion and Christianity. Um, but anxiousness in being gay is such a huge thing. And it all like probably started when I like finally was real with myself. I remember looking in a mirror and I was just staring at myself, and I'd been wrestling forever. Um and talking to like friends about it, and talking to gay friends about it. Like secretly, like furry friends, like no one who knew who I really was, but I let them in finally. Like I stopped just being Rano and I let them into my real life, and had like those hard conversations that you can only get with real friends. Um, and it really just stirred in me. And it like, I would just sit there and be like, I, I think I am gay. Like, I would lie to myself and say I'm not really gay. I just like furry gay porn, or like, I'm not really gay. I just like the way men look. It's just like fucking crazy shit you make up in your head to make you feel okay. Um, and I think it was like I looked in the mirror one day and I was just like, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it to myself. And I looked at myself and I was like, I'm gay. And it just felt good to like see myself say it, and to know like that's okay. Like it's okay. And like from then on, that's when I started like authentically being myself, but also you get that anxiety of being gay then because it's true. And I would find myself at like family functions. I would find myself in any public setting just being nervous that someone's going to know and they're going to treat me badly just because of that. And that's sad. That is so sad to think about, that we go through life nervous that someone is going to not like us, not because of who we are, not because of how we act, but just because of who we love and what we love. And I think it's just a lot of that anxiousness, and my personal struggle with it comes with just being a golden retriever. And like, yeah, that's cringe to be like, your first one was a golden retriever, but like golden retriever personality type, there's like a really cool personality quiz. It's like a lion, a beaver, otter, and a golden retriever, and they all like have different archetypes that a lot of people can be defined into groups. Sometimes you have overlapping, but when I took it, I was golden retriever. And that's like the people that want everyone to be happy. They'll sacrifice their own happiness. They'll take on other people's problems on top of their own. And it's just literally a golden retriever trying to be the one you want to pet and love and make everyone smile and have a good time. Um, there's the otter who's like the um they're like the planner, like the event planner, like the person who likes to be the life of the party, but they're a little less golden retriever, like where they're trying to make everyone happy. It's more so like for the better of the group. There's the beaver who's like the total planner, like the person who is like a planning type, like a more hardened. And then there's the lion who's like a bold, brash leader who will not really care about other people's feelings and just do what they think is right. Um, and I think as like a gay furry, that anxiety of um social anxiety is higher, especially when you're not with furries. Like that's why I feel most at home and most good with my furry friends, because they're like we're all pretty much the same, and you can find that rest of being yourself with those people. On top of being gay, and like that's a lot of the furry community, but like I find myself being anxious at like birthday parties. That's just like my normie family because we don't have the same interests. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about with like them? And before, like that was what I looked forward to most was being with my family because they were the closest thing I had to letting me be myself while still hiding a huge part of myself. Um, but now after finding myself, I find myself anxious in those situations because you still can't be your full self. Um, and that fear of rejection, if you do like show them that real side of yourself, it just brings out more anxiousness. Um, I'm a lot more outspoken about being gay. I will defend anyone that is gay around me because I know I have more of a threatening presence externally. I mean, if you know me for me outside of my fucking external self, you would know that I'm like the softest dude ever. Like I will cry to fucking commercials that have like the most any kind of emotional like turmoil in them. I have a lot of empathy, so I find myself when taking care of patients, like I'm getting a little choked up when they're having like their emotional moments or if they are having a bad day. And I think that like ties into some really good coping mechanisms is having a form of respite, um, being friends, being journaling, being writing, being singing, anything that helps relieve that stress and really just get it out there can really help. Um, I know personally, like I strive when I can just vent. And it's something that I've worked really hard on being more honest with my feelings and not making all of my anxiousness and all of my worries something that I just have to keep to myself to keep everyone happy. Um, in my personality, I find myself bottling everything up. I bottle it up, my sadness, my worry, and I can't let anyone know because then they're gonna know I'm not that fun, happy guy all the time. I'm also like sad or lonely or just a human being. Um, I think the social pressure of being social media influencer, I do with fucking quotations because I hate saying that, but when you have a presence and people see this person, I don't ever want to let someone down and make them think that I'm not who they think I am, and they lose sight of who they thought I was, and then they don't like me anymore. And I think a lot of us tie in our problems and think that there's such a big deal that no one's going to like you when you talk about them. But it's something that we definitely need to do more of, especially being gay and having so many feelings and so many world forces politically that just kind of push down on you. And this extends beyond being gay. I mean, being any kind of minority on top of being gay, I can't speak to this, but I can only assume it just brings that much more anxiety um, to the table. So when I think of my anxiety and what I can do to help that, I've found my best thing is talking with someone I trust, someone I know is going to listen. Um, and I'm just upfront with what I want. Like, I found if I just want to say I'm having a really bad day and I need you to tell me that I'm not a bad person, um, because I have a lot of self-deprecation issues. Um, I have a lot of guilt still, and I think it's just learned guilt from previous relationships, from narcissistic relationships years ago that just kind of made me feel bad for just being me and for having problems because Sometimes we're in a relationship where someone takes your problem and makes it their problem. And not like taking on your problem, but they make you having a problem, and that's something that you need to get out of or address and give a chance to correct, but that is not something that you should be dealing with. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was stuck and I felt stuck and I felt like I would never be able to get out of that and never be happy. And I had almost gotten to the point where I was ignorantly okay until I sat there and just let it pick at me until it was years later and it was not okay. And someone learned that they thought that was okay and they took advantage of that. And I want you to know, and I think it's really important that no matter what, you don't deserve that. There's always a way out of that, and that no matter what, you deserve to be loved unconditionally, and your problems are important, just as important as anyone else's problem. And getting out of those kinds of relationships are going to help you and that person learn a lesson. I can tell you from my previous relationship years ago, this is something that they've apologized for. And it was a straight relationship, and they apologized and they said, and they actually like addressed that that must have been really hard to be not you for so long and keep that away from everyone and to put on that mask and just to hear that is so freeing to be apologized to on top of that is just something that is a gift to both um and can help quell anxiety, but also being upfront with your friends on what you need from that conversation. I will go to some of my friends and I will be like, listen, I'm having a horrible day, I'm in my head, and I need you to just tell me that you like me. And it can be as simple as that. I've had friends that come to me and they say, I need you to tell me that I'm going to be okay. And that's all I do. Or if they just want to vent and I'm going to be at the end of that vent conversation, and it's important to like read the room and also just ask. Like, don't be afraid to ask someone who's going through something, what would you like me, how would you like me to respond? Do you want me to try and give you advice? Or do you just want me to tell you, yes, that sucks. That must be really hard. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. Because there's so many times where I know the right answer. I know I'm good. I know I'm a good friend, but I need to hear you say it. Or I know this sucks. And I just need to know that, yes, you are valid in thinking that sucks. And someone feels at least a little sorry for what is happening. Not looking for attention. I think there's a difference between attention seeking, where you just want someone to give you compliments and pour in compliments. I don't think that's healthy. I think that's looking for a temporary fix for an issue. But I do think that having someone tell you, I agree that sucks, and I'm sorry you're going through that, can help you realize that you're not alone in that battle. And I think another huge issue is there's not a lot of LGBTQ counseling out there. And I found that myself. I have like a really fucking funny story. I remember when I was first coming out, I was like, okay, like I need counseling. Like I know I did. I had so much suppressed um feelings and a lot of internal homophobia from my history that I was like, I need someone that understands this. Like that isn't just a therapist that talks about your feelings, because therapists are like people too on the inside, and they have their own values and their own ways of life that help form their care. And it's important that when you are experiencing anxiety related to being gay, that you find someone that understands what being gay is, or wrestles with it, or has experience in that field. Not saying they have to be gay, like they can be straight, but they also have to know what that's like and be an advocate for being you. It's important that you find someone that's an advocate for being you. Um, and I remember when I was looking, I called like some LGBTQ hotline and they're like, yes, is this blank? Is this your address? Is this blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yeah, how do you know all of that? And they're like, well, and they're like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm just looking to see if like if you can give me a recommendation for a counselor near me. And they're like, oh, dude, this is the suicide hotline. And that's the day I learned to read a little bit closer as to what I'm calling. And they're like, yes, we have police on the way to you, but I'm gonna call them to stop them from coming. And I was like, well, thank God, because that would have been embarrassing as fuck. The cops showing up. At the time I was with my parents, they would have thought some kind of huge thing was going on. Um, but it's important that you find that, and it's important that if you're interested in that work, that you pursue that because there's so many people who need it. I was lucky enough to know from one of my previous jobs, I worked with substance use prevention, and one of the counselors was LGBTQ or gay. I don't for sure know his sexuality, but I texted him and kind of explained to him what's going on, and he did my counseling for free. I tried to pay him. He said he would look into my insurance, and every time he would make up something as to like, well, it went through and you probably won't see a bill on your end, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, that's crazy that my insurance covers that. And then about a year into it, I felt a lot better. I felt good. And a lot of our counseling sessions were just kind of reaching to the point where it was like, you don't really need this anymore. You're doing good. Um, and I was like, this is weird because like I have not seen anything from my insurance of you billing me, and I just want to make sure you're getting your money. And he like chuckled a little bit, and he's like, I'm gonna be real with you. Um, I haven't paid you for any of this." And it gets me a little choked up. Um, I haven't paid you for any of this, or I haven't billed you for any of this because I want you to be okay. And I know that if I had turned you away, there was a chance you wouldn't get that help. And I couldn't do that to someone who helped people get through their problems. God damn. Get through their problems because I worked with substance use as a nurse and did a lot of substance use prevention and dealing with people with addiction and helping them through their addiction. And no, he never billed me, and we still text. And really amazing introduction into the kindness of the gay community at heart. Um, was that. And that was so cool. And that's why I push so hard to try and be there for people, whether it's on stream or through things like this, because you never know how much someone needs to hear that they're normal and it's okay to be unsure with yourself. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel. Um, because with being gay, there's just so many anxieties, a big one being masculinity. Um, I know growing up, and it's gotten a lot better, but I know growing up we would always hear like take it like a man or like you shouldn't cry, like that's not manly. Like I would play football and I remember like this coach, I played football and I was not fucking good, guys. Guys, I was not good. I did not know how to play football. I played football because my friend was like, I'm gonna play football, you should play with me. And he did musical theater with me. Mind you, no one thought I was gay. I didn't come out till I was 28. I did musical fucking theater, and you didn't think that, but whatever. He's like, he did a play with me, and he's like, I'll do the play if you do football. And I was like, cool, I'll do football. I start football. No idea what I've watched it a couple times. I don't know fucking plays. I don't know shit. I was like a tackle and a lineman, on defense and offense, and this motherfucker quit 2 practice is in. He's like, I don't want to do it. And my dad said I had to finish this shit. So I stayed in football, and the friend that I did it for quit. And I had to fucking do football for a whole season on a goddamn team that we won one game. Our first game, we won it, and my middle school hadn't won in 11 years. And we were like, this is it, guys. We're going to take this shit to the championship. We lost every single game after that. Every single one we lost. But I remember going back to this. I remember one day I was sitting there and I was like getting frustrated because like they push you and they push you and they push you, and I'm not someone who does good when someone's yelling at me. That another golden retriever trait of mine. When you scold me, when you yell at me, I will cry. I will cry. And it doesn't matter if I'm mad. It doesn't matter if I'm sad. It doesn't matter if I'm scared. I will cry. And I started crying. And he said, are you serious? Man up and stop crying. And that hurt me for so long. And it still fucking hurts me to hear those kinds of words. Um, it's something that my nephew, like, I encourage, like, if he's sad, he hurts himself and he's sitting there holding it back because he thinks he's not allowed to cry. That is, people should be ashamed of themselves if they do that to a child. If you go to a boy child or a girl child and you tell them that it's not manly to have emotions, shame on you. You are raising someone, you are you are putting thoughts into a young mind that will forever remember that. That's not okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel feelings. And if anybody ever told you not to feel feelings, they were fucking wrong. And I'm going to tell you that. And I can bench 340 fucking pounds. I'm a fucking man. I can tell you that much. I'm a fucking man. I will kiss a dude on the mouth, and I will tell you that doesn't make me any less manly than any of the football players in the NFL. Because what constitute a man is not what they don't show. What constitutes a man is what they do show and where they show up and how they show up. And you can be a leader and still have emotions. You can be a man and you can still cry. You can be a man and you can be sad. And you can turn to your friends and just be real and just be honest. And then once you get it out, find a way to work through that. Don't sit in your anxiety and don't sit in the problems. I think one of the biggest things you can do is see what the problem is and then write it out. Write out that problem in a big fucking piece of paper. Write that problem big in the middle because that's what you're focusing on. And then around that, write ways you can fix that. And then from the ways you can fix that, find the ones that you can do that day. Whether it's, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm feeling restless. I'm going to go for a walk. I can do that. I can do that right now. I'm feeling restless. I'm going to take 10 seconds here. I'm going to close my eyes. And I'm going to take 10 breaths. And then I'm going to take on the next thing. Make something that is visual. Make something that you can check off because that's going to make you feel better about what you need to get done. It's like a workout plan. And like I know I'm tying this back into fucking muscle dude is tying it back into a workout plan, but that's what it is. You take someone and you throw them in a gym and you say, get to work. Go work out. What's someone gonna do? They're gonna get anxious and they're gonna say, I can't do this, and they're gonna walk away. But if you give someone a workout plan and you throw them in a gym, they have something to work with. You have a visual representation of what you need to get done. And anxiety is something like that. What I do is at home, I have post notes on my desk of things that, shit, I need to get that done. Shit, this is something that I've really been wanting to do. I'm gonna write it down. And I'll look at those post-its every day because I sit at my computer every day because I'm a fucking pleb. Um, and I look at that list and I say, I'm going to get that done today. And when I get it done, I feel so much better. Stewing in your anxiety and letting that control your emotions and control your life is literally letting your life go to waste. We get one life. And it took me forever to do that. It took me years to take control of my life and stop living it for others and stop living it in the fear of others and what they thought and just doing it for me. And you can do the same thing. So I know this is more serious, and I just think fun is fun and I like to be fun, but I also want to contribute more than just being fun and being the sexy hyena dog dude. I want to be someone that can be fun and you can have fun, but you can also turn to and be like, dang, that actually helped me today. Beyond just smiling, like I feel better. And if this makes you feel like that, I feel so much better that I can make a difference in someone's day, someone's life, help them feel safer and help them feel wanted and appreciated more so than making them laugh. And I hope you laugh too. Um, but yeah, this is where I kind of wanted to be, and I hope this helped you. If it did help you, I would love for you to comment somewhere because that helps me keep doing this. Because I struggle so much with inadequacy and self-deprecation, just like anyone else. And to know that you get to help someone and I get to tell my story and hopefully influence others to tell their story and to be honest, um, it's such a treat and such an honor. And I want everyone to. This is weird, and this is not an idea that I had a while ago, and I did it to myself, and now I tell it to my friends, and it may sound silly, but look at yourself in the mirror on the days that you feel like you're not enough, like this is not worth it, and just tell yourself that you love you, and that you're good, and that you're strong, and that you're worth loving. And I promise you, you will feel better. You guys are awesome. I so appreciate the chance to get to do this. If you guys want to jump in Twitch and talk with me, I'm on there all the time during the week. Twitch.tv/Rano. You can totally come in there and have these real conversations. I would love to have real conversations because a lot of it's just shenanigans, but I love the real shit. Um, you can also follow me on Twitter, which is Rano Yeen, on TikTok, Rano Yeen, on Instagram, Rano Yeen. And then also check out barkbell.co. This is my little clothing love child. I've always loved clothing. I've always loved fashion. Um, and I took the leap and I worked with some really cool artists to make some really one of a kind, oversized, kind of pump cover gym clothing that you can turn into tank tops, hats. And that's just a start. And please just go give the website a look because I fucking worked so hard on that. But have a great fucking day, night, afternoon, and know that you are so fucking worth it and that you are not weird. Everyone is weird. It's okay to be weird. You're worth love. You are worth acceptance. And if someone is telling you otherwise, that they are not worth your time. Love you guys.